Hello and welcome, it's Rooflemonger, and it's time for yet another installment of our Tips and Tricks series, this time dealing Gamora, the very capable, very quick assassin in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So in this video we're going to be going over just some basic stuff for her specials, some of her gimmicks, her overall game plan, and some other nicks and knacks. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, to quickly go over some of her special moves here, a couple of these I'm going to omit for the moment, because I actually want to go to them in depth in their own sections. Just to talk about some of the command normals here, first off we have the knife throw, that's just forward light kick. So it's rollable, see here, it is a knockdown. It's a rollable knockdown, so it's not a hard knockdown, unfortunately. It's not an overhead, and there's not too much use out of it, honestly, that I know of. If you know of some great use for it, I'd love to know it in the comments, because that'd be an eye-opener for me. But as I can see, it doesn't hold much use. It's you can the best I could say is if you hit at a very specific angle, it can't be push blocked. If you hit around where the toes are, the foe is not able to push block it, but that's all I can really say about that. But to move on to a much more exciting command normal, forward light kick in the air is a double gunshot. So this is one of her main annoyance tools along with her regular gunshots. This move is special cancelable. She only has one air special, so she's only going to special cancel out in the air gunshot. But right here is kind of the basis of her annoyance scheme. Her projectiles are ridiculous, which I'll go into more. If you don't know already, you're going to learn. But she has some of the best set of projectiles in the game, and she can just fill the screen with garbage pretty satisfactorily with this. Now, to speak of the move, the Godslayer, her lovely little sword here. So, Godslayer has a light punch and heavy punch version here, and the heavy punch is an overhead. I'm just going to turn that on so you can see. Check that out. So, as you can see here, the first hit only is an overhead. So if you were to somehow hit with the latter hits, the hitbox is quite large, so it's going to be a very difficult trick to pull off. But if you were somehow to not hit with the very first hit, then those would be blockable crouching. But yeah, the very first hit is the overhead, and that's the most important hit anyways. But one thing to note, now you have the follow-up for both of them, which is just hit heavy punch afterwards, and you do this lovely little rise move here. So for the light punch starter, after that you can totally get whatever combo, doesn't really matter. The heavy punch one actually uses up your OTG, because as you see here, before we do the follow up, you spike them to the ground. So the lift is actually using up your OTG, so you're unable to get a follow up right afterwards. So you only basically get the damage you're getting off that, and that's kind of unfortunately about it. So unless you're going for an overhead and not going for the instant overhead, not too much use for it. The light punch one is definitely the way to go, and it is mostly for combo enders, but it's fantastic at it because it has such high base damage. Now I want to talk about Fatal Rise. That's down, one of the two punches. I want to talk about the heavy punch one first because it's more immediately obvious in its use. So you do it and it has a little spin out, and it causes an OTG OK state. So if you're not near or in the corner though, it can be difficult to land even with a tag. If you tag, see that spin there? I'm actually like constantly switching my side, so you might have to practice a little bit with the tag combos. But generally Gamora's combo structure always takes you corner to corner, so at the very worst you can usually get like a crouch fierce kick into Godslayer and then into super. But yeah, it's definitely combo fodder, but it's great for OTG state creation and for ending your combos. Now the light punch one is also a good combo starter, but it's not as immediately obvious, because if you do it too close, its combo usage is going to be limited. But I want to show you that if you do standing heavy punch heavy kick, no matter where you are on screen, even in the corner, it will push you back far enough so you only get one hit instead of multiple hits, which makes your combos a lot easier to land. So right there, I only did one hit, and then for the HK, you need both hits of that standing hard punch, that is. And you can get that. So just a quick example here. And then you can finish your combo however you choose after that. But yeah, so I just want to show that is also just as good as an ideal move to use for combos as the heavy punch. But you do need to caveat it with spacing it so you only get the one hit, so you don't burn too much hits, get too much damage, and you have a more favorable position to start your beginning hit falling down. Now, a quick note about her super, her sword super that is, unless you were already aware, it is briefly invulnerable. So you see here, I can blow right through a projectile. The window of invincibility is not great, but it does start on the first frame. So it is a great move to bully people with if you're willing to just have burn a bar, because the risk is, very low, because you can tag in and Nemesis is probably not the best example, but like do mix-ups or something while they're having to block. And there's very little penalty as long as your partner's still active, just to randomly toss it out while they're close, because the reward is fantastic and the risk is minimal. And as for Horde level 3, honestly, not much to speak about, other than the fact that as you started here, you see, it kind of started with a little bit of a projectile. Let's start that. Poison. So as long as that projectile hits, that's what causes the level 3 to activate. So you can do it from fairly far away. Now the durability of that projectile is not quite the same as the normal ones. So we do this here. It's not going to blow through Jetta's pinwheel, the big one. So you see there, that's going to kind of deter. But yeah, just as long as it connects, you get it from anywhere on the screen. But I don't think past the initial invincibility of Gamora herself, that's just going to buy you like full screen level 3s or nothing. Now, to speak on her instant overhead, I feel it's important enough to get its own section. So the input is simple enough, just down heavy punch in the air. And if you do it, you can get a follow-up, because you're counting as jumping state after the bounce. So just a quick thing to note here, one, and I'm going to really hedge on this in a minute here, but you want to do it as low to the ground as you can. And two, the hitbox on it is fairly crazy. So right around here, and it still connects. So one thing to note too, if you are, it can induce a cross-up. So if you do it the right distance here, you can see here you're switching sides, and you will correctly auto-face to switch sides. So if you want to cross up, try to do it instant forward. So up, forward, and then down. And if you want to stay the same side, I would suggest doing up, just straight up and into it. So when you want to practice this, because you will need to practice it, please make sure you're set to crouching, because these combos are very easy on standing foes, and they can be somewhat difficult in crouching, because if you don't do it low enough to the ground, everything's going to whiff. So on people who are tall crouchers like Hulk or Nemesis, something, it's not as bad, but so just to show you, that's roughly the height you want. You want it as instant as possible. So yeah, you want to go for light kick, and then you can do your follow-up after that. It can be difficult. And after that, you go into whatever combo you have. But yeah, you really need to practice getting that as low to the ground as possible. One thing to ensure too, especially when they're crouching, it's really easy to cross them up. So to note on that, so they could correctly block and you cross them up, and then they still have to block the cross up. So you do have a second chance at life if they do block it. But if you want to ensure you don't cross them up, do a quick up back jump and then do the instant. You gotta make sure you're close, because if you do it too far away, you're just gonna whiff the move entirely. But that will pretty much ensure you stay on the same side, and you can do whatever combo from there. Now for Shadow combination, that's her install. You simply down, down both kicks, and now she has a little Shadow buddy. It'll exactly mirror what you do. Let's see here. So it's honest to me, anyways, best use is not so much for combo fodder, because as you hopefully know by now, damage scaling is also hit stun scaling. So yes, you obviously do more damage, but you're gonna have to shorten your combo, because if you do the same B&B combo, they're gonna fall out of after a while, because you're doing too much damage and the combo is just gonna drop. So its main use plays with one of her strengths, in my opinion anyways, is her zoning gets a lot more ridiculous, because it's just double the amount of bolts on the screen now. So it was already, a bit painful, if you get tagged, and now it's just literally double. And a lot of characters, they're just gonna probably want to wait out your bar at this point, because the penalty for getting hit is just simply too high. You lose too much life. Like, that's off a simple fireball. Like, look at that. That can even combo if you get the timing correctly. So yeah, you absolutely want to abuse that. Her neutral fireball game becomes so much stronger with it up. Now with that said, I want to make sure you know this one very key thing that's different from quite a few other characters. So I'm going to set her bar to not recover. I'll set it to 3. So when I do it,
Shadow combination.
as see here, she no longer can gain bar. So some other installs, it's no problem. You can totally gain bar while it's going on, but you're completely locked out of bar while this is going on. So please keep that in mind when you're entering it. You're making a commitment saying, I'm willing to not gain any more special bar while this is on. Now, one thing to note, and I have Mind Stone selected here.
This is your end.
As you normally gain bar in Mind Stone, you can still gain bar while in Mind Stone. So, in this opinion, that immediately shoots her up to one of the best Mind Stone users, as you can basically enter your install and still keep gaining bar, and not have to worry about just, you know, screwing yourself and having no bar while this whole thing is active. Now, to speak on the proper gun move, because it's absolutely deserving of its own section, because it's probably the most crazy thing about the character. So, just a quick note, if you don't know already, you know, fireball motion kick, backward fireball motion kick in the air. In the air, it has 2 different angles, and in the ground, it has 2 different shots. So, first off, on the ground, you can get the punch follow-up, same as the Godslayer sword. It's not as useful. But there is some combos that can make use of, specifically the light kick version into the follow-up. But here's where it's crazy. So, Jettis Pinwheels is like one of the highest durability fireballs in the game, as we know. And Gamora, for the most part, doesn't care. Not only did it go through, both hits went through. Like, it doesn't even deter it in the slightest. So she can actually beat beams too, at the right angle and start up, because they are usually, you know, take up the whole screen at once. So if I was to switch to like Captain Marvel and try to do them at the same time, like, I'm not going to really be able to do startup fast enough, because there is some startup involved. But yeah, generally these in all versions, so the forward light kick version, the air version, all of them just crap on other people's projectiles. Pretends Reality Stone's not even there, just deletes Reality Stone without slowing down. Like I said, we have Jettis Pinwheel. It's just one of the most annoying projectiles in the game. And if you're playing Gamora, I know she has like the sick combos, the sick instant overheads and all that, but a lot of your games should be dedicated to just hassling people with the gunshots and frustrating them. Now, one thing I want to note, so a heavy kick version here does a knockdown, and that is an OTG OK state. And off that, you can simply get another heavy kick gunshot. So there, you know, it's not a lot of damage, but from full screen, it certainly can't be argued. Once you get closer to the corner, you can definitely get combos off that. Into, you know, whatever. I have a companion combo guide you'll see at the end of this. But yeah, her gunshots are fantastic. They don't lose for the most part against other projectiles or beams. Generally, only beams that can really even beat it are like Iron Man's, which is the strongest beam in the game. And if it's from far away, it'll still usually lose. But it kind of just craps on all other projectiles. It's in a class of all of its own. And she's definitely the projectile master of the game in that regard. Now, this one's just a quick little tidbit, but as you obviously know, everyone can throw in the game. And Gamora, this is normally the realm of the larger characters like your Hulks and your Thors and all that, but Gamora can actually combo off her back throw. She doesn't need plink tagging or anything like that. If you just get a back throw, you can actually get a follow-up and go into a combo from it. Now, as with all throws, you know, you're not going to get much, and the angle it hits at is a smidge awkward. But you know, you can get stuff, and that's certainly more than nothing. Most people need a plink tag, and that's annoying in the whole thing in and of itself. So yeah, you can simply put combo off your back throw, so that's something. And that's it for our tips and trick video. So she's kind of straightforward in that she's just a berserker with quick instant overheads, and you can go quickly into a low, and you know, make people guess high-low all day, and she has a very annoying keep away game. Now, one thing I didn't mention in the gun section, I feel remiss in not mentioning that, is we set ourselves to guard here and push block. So the projectiles cannot be push blocked. So there's no reflect, there's no nothing like that. It just is super like dominant in all aspects. These projectiles are friggin' ridiculous, and there's no other way to put it. They can't be push blocked anyway, so there's none of that. Like, you know, the knife can be push blocked, so you know that can, you know, be thrown back in your face and stuff like that. But these gunshots, they just have to hold that, and that's the end of that story. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Marvel.